Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan here. I am excited that you guys are joining me on this live stream. Back in the studio. Make sure you guys post in the comments. Tell me who you are so we can say what's up and kind of chat. You know, Tiffany and I had a dope day today. Dope. Oh, here's some people. So, Randall, what's up? Mike, what is up, man? So Tiffany and I, we started this new kind of series on the channel. We're not really sure what we're going to call it yet. What's up, Will? The working title right now is going to be called Guns and Tacos. Guns and Tacos. I think that's a dope name. What's up, Brandon? So today we did a vlog, and the idea of this show is to go to different gun stores across the state, kind of meet the people, hang out, meet some people like-minded, find some cool guns, and then the big thing is the taco part. Tiffany and I are really into Mexican food. We love it, but it's so hard to find a good Mexican restaurant. So we're going to ask every gun store, what's the best Mexican restaurant, and then we're going to review it. So today we went to West Coast Pawn and Gun in Lakeland, and it was dope. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun. The people there were great. Let me see if Tiffany's trying to tell me something. The people there were amazing. It was so much fun. I bought a gun. Not going to tell you what gun I bought because Lincoln may be watching, and the background check was taking too long. So I said, listen, I'm leaving. I'll come back tomorrow and get the gun. So I told Lincoln I'm not telling him what it is, but him and I are going to go pick it up tomorrow. But this is a gun I have never seen before. Never. Did not know it existed. And I saw it and I was like, yeah, wrap that sucker up, put a bow on it, because it's coming home. So that video will post probably next week. I would say probably, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. What's up, Jason? What is up, Mike? Watching from the Palm Coast. That's awesome. Wilson is from Navarre, Florida. Interesting. I didn't even know Navarre existed. So that's great. Drew, what's up? Craig, what's going on? Brandon. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you've got any questions about guns, gear, Florida concealed carry law, maybe even that shooting that just happened in Boulder, make sure you guys visit carryuniversitylive.com. You can sign up for email alerts. You know, a guy, I was replying to comments on YouTube before the live started, and this guy's like, bro, I don't understand what's happening. You've posted all these videos. YouTube never notified me, even though we're set as like a priority notification. That's because they don't like gun companies. So if you sign up for our email notification, that way it guarantees you're going to get that email. Jennifer, what's up? This is awesome. So Jennifer just got my first gun today. Shout out to Bunker Depot. Thanks for the referral. That's awesome, Jennifer. So what kind of gun did you buy? That's what I'm curious about. Let's see. Jess, keep seeing about the shooting, but nothing about what kind of gun was used. Yeah, Jess, the dudes at the gun store that I was at today, actually, maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was somebody else told me this. But apparently, oh no, it was the people at the gun store. It was an AR-15 pistol, allegedly, with a arm brace, which is very convenient, right? So we know the anti-gun community now is going to use this as, oh, these arm braces. The arm braces are so dangerous. But you know, it's what the Marine Corps talks about. They say one mind, any weapon. When you have an evil person that wants to destroy and kill and take lives, frankly, it doesn't matter if they use a car, they use gasoline, they use a gun. Those evil people, they like to do evil, bad stuff. And I saw one commentator talking about the Colorado shooting. They said, you know, Colorado's got just about every gun control law that exists, They've got red flag laws. They've got all this stuff, right? But it didn't stop the shooting because, unfortunately, you know, I don't want people to die. I don't want people to get hurt. It's just very hard to predict when stuff like this is going to happen. And for me, I'm a believer in personal responsibility. I believe that the only way we can't predict and identify when this stuff is going to happen, which means the only way I can really protect myself and protect my family is to carry a firearm 100% of the time I'm legally allowed to train myself so that I can actually use that gun at a high level during a violent attack. And the third thing is pray that it simply never happens. But if it happens, I want to make sure that I'm ready. What's up? Drop it like it's Scott. All right, so let's jump into some questions here. So first question is from Brian. So Brian says, I'm going on vacation this weekend and my wife decided to rent a car from a budget car rental. And I can't find anything about carrying a firearm in a rented car online. The only state that he's going through is Illinois, which is dangerous. That's tough, right? Which I'll have my gun locked away from myself. Family will be driving through Illinois. My dilemma is, can I carry in a rented car? Yeah, so the Florida law doesn't say, you know, you can only carry in a car you personally own and have a note for. It talks about a conveyance. So that's a vehicle that you are in. So it doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to be the driver. You can be the passenger. Now, this is, again, just Florida. This is just my opinion, but I would assume it's probably the exact same for all states across the country. I highly doubt anybody would allow you to have a gun inside of your car that you own and not a car that is rented. So I wouldn't stress out about that. The bigger concern is the fact that you're driving through a highly regulated state like the state of Illinois is making sure that you have a deep understanding of the Firearm Owners Protection Act safe passage provision, which it sounds like you do. You had a lot of that kind of language inside of your question. So you need to know that. And you also have to have a really good understanding of what the Illinois state law is for the temporary transportation of a firearm, because we don't want you to get in trouble, have a mistake, and end up in a world of trouble. What's up, Adelie? What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Okay, Hammy from Palm Beach. Just want to say we need to impeach Biden and Kamala. Yeah, they really haven't done anything that is impeachable, in my opinion, yet. And I also, you know, I don't want to make this about politics or whatever. We have to be the bigger people. And even though they were doing a lot of fake, phony impeachment, hoax, and BS, we don't want to turn the office of the presidency or the House and the Senate. We don't want to degrade the value of those institutions, even though they're doing it, right? So it's just like my daughter was saying today, she's 12. She's getting into like the age where kids are doing weird stuff. And one of the kids like told Paisley today or yesterday that she's a Satanist and she like is cutting her arms and stuff. So Paisley said, you know, you're crazy to the girl. So we had to have a talk with her and say, you know, people do stuff like that because they're in pain, they're hurting. So we don't want to make it worse by picking on that girl or whatever, judging her. What we want to do is love that girl because she's obviously hurting and bad things are happening. So listen, I don't agree with anything that Biden or Kamala are doing. What I don't want to do is really destroy America by playing really partisan games. You know, I don't know. Okay, Freedom Lawyer. Awesome. Why can't I super chat? I don't know, bro. I don't even know how to turn super chat on. So maybe I didn't turn it on. Maybe there's a setting that I didn't do. I really don't know. Raul says, hey, Ryan, I know we could open carry fishing, camping, or hunting. How do you see the future of 24/7 open carry in Florida? That's a really good question, Raul. I think that because Florida is such a tourism-driven state, and because Florida is having such a massive growth spurt, I think we're always going to have lots of new people coming in. And open carry, frankly, just scares a lot of people. So I think it's always going to be something where anytime you open carry, those people that are just not used to it are gonna freak out. They're gonna call the police, and that's obviously gonna like discourage other people from wanting to open carry. I think in places like Alaska, even places like Texas, where open carry has been happening for so long, people just kind of expect it. But I've talked to people in Texas, and they say, you know, the new people that move from another state, they see some dude at a grocery store open carrying a pistol, and they immediately freak out. They like pull their kids close. They call 911. So I think no matter what, it's always going to kind of raise that alarm a little bit in people's minds when they see you open carrying a gun. And yeah, I don't know if it'll ever become like very commonplace, at least in the state of Florida. And if it does, it's going to take decades to get there. It's definitely not going to happen fast. What's up, Scuba? I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Glad you're here. All right. Juan says, I'm having trouble getting the answer to, I have a New Hampshire concealed carry permit. Here in my state, I don't need one because we have constitutional carry, but I got my permit so that he has reciprocity. I'm looking to move to Florida. What would I need to do to transfer my concealed carry permit? And can I just keep my New Hampshire one until it expires? Great question, Juan. So the state of Florida says that when you move to Florida and you become a resident, so you get a Florida driver's license, you intend to make Florida a home, that starts a 90-day clock. So once you become a resident, you have 90 days to obtain a Florida concealed weapons permit before your New Hampshire permit is no longer valid. So you definitely, as soon as you move here, you want to get a Florida carry permit. Now, this is the government we're dealing with. They don't allow you to transfer a permit from one state to another. You actually have to start the process over in the state of Florida. So you can visit carryuniversity.com. You can take the online portion of the class, and then we have firearms instructors all across the state of Florida where you can go and perform the actual live fire portion of the course and then submit your application to the state. Process is so simple, it's not even funny. So that's going to be your best option. And FYI, I answered your question on Monday. You obviously didn't watch my live stream on Monday, but that's okay, Juan. I'm not going to judge you. I still like you in my book. So we're all good. Okay, let me see if there are any questions popping up in the chat. Nope. Okay, but if you guys have a question, make sure you answer it or ask it. Kelly, where do you keep your gun at night? I have small children. That come in my room often, and I feel like I can't get my gun out of the safe fast enough if there's an intruder, especially half asleep. So Kelly, what I currently use is I have these two safes. So that one right there, that is called the Gun Vault Speed Vault. So I have that mounted right next to my bed. Now the picture that I'm showing is the biometric version. I do not trust biometric. I don't use it because what I've learned is that if you have any gun oil on your hand, which I frequently do, the safe doesn't work. If you have lotion on your hand, that biometric thing will not work. So I use the push button, but I have a 6-digit code, sits right by my bed, and I can very quickly open it up and get to that gun. And honestly, it probably takes less than 4 or 5 seconds to actually open it, which everybody says, you know, you don't have enough time. You have to remember that home defense is a multi-layered approach. So your home security system, your dogs, your security cameras and notifications on your phone, those are the early warning systems that somebody is on your property and that they are trying to get into your home. That's the purpose of them. Like a lot of people stop there though. They get a home security system and put up a few cameras and they think that's what's going to keep them safe. That stuff doesn't protect you. What that stuff does is tell you that there's a bad guy present. So that's the early warning system. Then you grab your gun, you take your defensive position, get on the phone with 911 and all that other stuff that I teach, right? That's safe right there. That's called a Hornady rapid shotgun mount. Now that picture, I wish I could stop it, but it doesn't stop. The gun is mounted wrong. When you mount the gun in the Hornady rapid shotgun mount, you want it to clamp over the trigger of the shotgun so that way your kids can never have access to be able to touch a trigger and stuff like that. I have one of those mounted in my closet. Again, the idea is if something bad really happens, I would grab my home defense pistol, which is a Glock 19X, and I would go get my kids and make sure that they're safe. Because my bedroom and then the children's bedrooms are on two separate sides, right? So I got to go to the kids. Tiffany's job, take a defensive position in our bedroom with that shotgun ready to rock. So hopefully that answers your question, Kelly. All right. Facebook user says, you have a show on Monday. Yes. So we go live. You know, I have two YouTube channels. So I have Carry University, which you guys are on right now. And then I also have Tampa Carry. So the Tampa Carry channel, we go live every Monday at 7 o'clock and kind of hang out and chat. Okay, Jason Walker says, did you watch any of the Senate hearings yesterday? I watched some of it. Didn't watch all of it. Watched some of it. You know, it's the same BS. I have a video that we'll probably post today about it. I'll post it as soon as I'm done. About the Boulder shooting and some of these hearings and stuff that these guys are talking about. It's the same nonsense that they always kind of vomit out of their mouths about guns. They like to mislead people. There was lots of talk that this is a public health crisis, a public health epidemic. No, you want to talk about a crisis? The crisis is what's happening at our border. And that's why they won't allow any reporters to go to the border, because they don't want anybody to be able to report on it and document what's actually happening. The bottom line is that about 200 people every year die from an active shooter. 200. It's a bad number. We don't want anybody to die, but it is still an extremely small number. Is it? I think it's 1,400 people die every single year from being stabbed to death. And I'm just going to pull up a document real quick. Hundreds of people die every single year from being beaten to death with a hammer. So they never want to talk about that kind of stuff because it shows just that their entire narrative is frankly BS. Oh, this isn't going to pull up very quickly. Gun control, stats. I keep all this stuff on a document. Okay, it's not going to pull up right away. So they love to just kind of mislead people with a bunch of scary terms and phrases and stuff. And honestly, it just pisses me off. Okay, Drop It Like It's Scott says, my home defense pistol is a Canik TP9 Elite Combat. Drop It Like It's Scott. My buddies over at Bunker Depot, they gave me a Canik pistol. I am going to be doing a review and shooting it for the very first time tomorrow. And I'm excited. You know, I really like it. I think it's a nice, sexy gun. So that video will be coming out very, very soon. I carry at home as well, along with my motion detective system. Yeah, I think that's smart. I don't know if you guys have heard the story or not, but I had a guy in my concealed carry class who said he lives in a gated subdivision. I think he's an attorney down in Sarasota. Gated subdivision. He's lived there for 17 years, never had an issue. And as he's walking through his front lawn to go to the backyard, he goes to open the gate, and all of a sudden, something hit him in the back of the head, and he collapses onto the ground. So he said he rolled over, somebody jumped on top of him and just started wailing on him. And then he noticed there was another guy pointing a gun at him. So thankfully, he was able to grab, I believe it was a barbecue or something like that was very close. He kind of smashed the guy that was on top of him with the barbecue. Then he ran into his back patio door and was able to lock it, barricaded himself in a room and called 911. And he said, Ryan, I live in a very wealthy area, very well-to-do, gated subdivision, and have never had an issue in 17 years. And now I got pistol whipped in my front yard. People are trying to rob me and they're beating me up. And he said, I didn't think I needed a gun until that was happening. And I realized I don't have the ability to actually stop these bad guys. So yeah, you need to carry a gun. I was trimming some oak trees in my front yard a couple years ago. And as I am in a tree cutting down branches, I had my gun on my body. Why? Because bad stuff happens extremely fast, and I need to be able to keep my family safe. And my family needs me to be here, and I can't let some scumbag kill me because they're on a rampage. Okay, Renee says, what about what Biden said today about seizing your guns without a warrant today in Forbes? I didn't see that, Renee, so I will check that out. And, you know, they can say, you know, what I find really funny when my video editor, his name is Goche. So he lives over in Europe. So when Biden was being inaugurated, I sent him a message and I said, hey, Goche, make sure you get me a recording of Biden swearing an oath to support and defend the Constitution. I said, we're going to need it, buddy. We're going to need it. Because these lunatics, they swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. But then a comment like that is them violating and breaking that oath of office. What's hard is these people are not held accountable to these kind of actions, and that's the major issue. They need to be held accountable. They need to have punishments for when they violate these types of things, or they're simply never going to learn. It's kind of like letting your kids just run around. Oh, actually, we went for a walk before the live stream because I like to do that as a way to exercise and spend time with the kids after school. So we're going for a walk. Jackson picks up this stick that's like a sword or whatever. And as we're walking by somebody's mailbox, Jax hit the mailbox. So now what's happening right now in our society with these politicians is they hit somebody else's mailbox and nobody says anything. There's no consequence. As soon as Jackson did it, I said, Jax, you're not allowed to hit other people's mailbox. You're wrecking somebody else's stuff. How would you feel if somebody did that to our mailbox? It is unacceptable. And he's like, okay, Dad. And he's sorry, and he's never going to do it again. And if he does do it again, he's going to get a belt. But my point is, just like children, there has to be consequences for people doing stuff that they are not allowed to do. Okay, Michael says, just bought a new CZ 2075 Rammy. Cool. Compact 9mm the other day. I live in Valrico. Awesome. If you want to borrow, try to let me know. I would love to, Michael. So send me an email to admin at careyuniversity.com, and we'll chat, and I'll see maybe if I can pick it up tomorrow morning, tonight. We would do that, and then I'll film a video tomorrow, and that way I can get it back to you right away. All right, let's see. Okay, let's go. I think we answered Juan's question, Kelly's. Okay, here's Matt. If you can only afford one firearm for home defense, what would you recommend and why? A shotgun, AR-15, or a handgun? Okay, so there's a lot of debate about what is the best home defense weapon. Is it a shotgun, an AR-15, or a handgun? In my opinion, I don't think it really matters which of those three you choose. What is more important is that you have something. It's that you have something that you can access it quickly. Like if you have a gun in your garage in your big gun safe, but you're sleeping in your bedroom, if a bad guy breaks in, you can never access that gun in your garage fast enough to be able to defend yourself and your family. That firearm needs to be in your master bedroom. And again, it needs to be in some type of gun safe like this, because we want to keep our children safe and protect that gun from unauthorized people. So it's, in my opinion, it's more important to have the weapon, and second, to have a high level of training with that weapon so that you can actually utilize it properly. If you guys remember, there was a home invasion that happened in Lithia in 2020, January, where two men kicked in the front door. The husband jumped up, started fighting these two guys, and the wife ran into the bedroom, grabbed the home defense gun. The problem is she didn't know how to turn the safety off. That is a dumb moment to try to figure out how your gun works. You need to figure that out way before the bad guys are in your home attacking your husband. And unfortunately, I think I've shared this story before, but I'll say it again. I just had a young woman. She's probably 25, 27, somewhere around there. In the class, she has a 1-year-old kid. Husband has a gun, and they keep the gun in a safe inside of the bedroom. So the woman, she decided to clean the garage because she just bought a brand new car and she wanted to park her car in the garage so it didn't get wrecked. So she spent the day cleaning the garage. Then she parked her new car in the garage. Husband works at night. Well, somebody who was obviously watching her, staking her out, realized that there was no car in the driveway. So that must mean nobody's home. So at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, this person starts kicking in the front door. Now imagine how scared you guys would be. I'm a hardcore gun owner, right? Somebody starts kicking in my door. It's going to be nerve-wracking. She was scared. She ran into her son's bedroom, grabbed the 1-year-old. She's on the phone with the husband, and the husband says, "You got to get my gun." And she said, "I don't know how to work it. I don't know how to use your gun." So thankfully, the bad guy came in. He saw the woman and her baby hiding in a closet, and the bad guy decided to run out of the home. That could have ended a lot worse. That bad guy could have easily killed her and her son, or killed her and kidnapped the son, simply because the woman didn't think she needed a gun until the home invader was inside of her house. So don't wait. You got to figure that stuff out now. Okay, yeah, Kathy says, practice, practice. I agree. You'll think they'll start to confiscate these guns for high-capacity mags. I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try. I'm a subscriber to the Ban Assault Weapons Now website, so I get their kind of emails. They've been sending out a lot of emails. They got a petition going to try to, because of the Colorado shooting, saying, we can't allow these tragedies to happen, whatever. And I agree. I think it's shitty that this kind of stuff happens. I'm very curious to learn more about this guy in the Boulder shooting. Allegedly, he immigrated here from Syria. So I think we're going to find out very quickly that there's some like radical Islam ties with this person. And I think they're going to use whatever they can to try to come after high cap mags, AR-15s, AKs, because that's a low-hanging fruit, right? Now, it's not logical. There's no logic behind this because they don't care about logic, frankly. Again, more people are being beaten to death with a hammer every year than are dying with a rifle, let alone an AR-15. 75%, yes, you heard that correctly, 75% of active shootings are committed with a handgun. But for some reason on the news, they only talk about the active shootings that are being committed with a rifle, particularly an AR-15, because that's what fits their narrative. So Mike says, is a presidential executive order a law? If not a law, how can it be enforced? Yeah, I don't know, actually. There's an attorney on here right now. Maybe he knows. So if you can post it, sir, if you know the answer. I don't know. I would assume it's a law because that's kind of the point, right? I think the problem with executive orders is that they're usually overturned with the next presidency. So I don't know. Now, I do know that if Biden makes like an executive order saying, high cap mags are illegal, AR-15s are illegal, I think that will be challenged. And I think that will definitely go to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we'll just have to take our time to kind of see what the courts say. I don't think there's a chance in hell that the courts would say that this is constitutionally allowed, but who knows? Yeah, I agree with you, Renee. Hopefully it'll never be approved by the Supreme Court, but you never know. Like, I bought Ted Cruz's new book called One Vote Away. I haven't read it yet. My fault. But what he talks about in this book is that most of these big U.S. Supreme Court cases, they're usually like 5-4. So it really is just one vote away from swaying the entire nation in a totally different direction. which is crazy. It's really crazy that it can move so fast, right? But that kind of is where we're at. Okay, Jess says she hates manual safeties. Florida girl says, I have my concealed carry permit, but I need a class to teach me how to control my fear. Interesting. My adrenaline goes sky high when I'm scared. Fear will get you killed. I very much agree. I took my body hours to stop shaking. I'm in Northwest Florida. Yeah, Florida girl. Now, my question to you is, what's driving the fear? Is it sometimes when I go with students shooting, and they hear the gunshot or other people shooting, that gives them a big adrenaline dump and they get very nervous and very scared. Is that what's driving your fear? Or are you afraid of somebody pulling out a knife, getting that adrenaline dump and being very terrified? I'm sure most of you know this story, but many years ago, it must have been 12 years ago, because my daughter was only like a year old. A man committed suicide in front of Tiffany and I down in Boca Raton. And it was one of the most traumatic things I've ever seen. My brother was killed too when I was little. So I've had a couple, and my dad was shot when I was 15. So I've had a couple big tragic things happen, but this was pretty tragic. Like we were the last people to talk, and Tiffany was praying with this man as he was dying, rib cage open, his leg was severed. Like it was bad. And I did a lot of things. I pushed a cop. When the police showed up, the cop put his hand on my chest and said, you have to step back. And I swept his arm down, and I was like, I was here first. Now, I would never do that in normal situation, but because of the adrenaline and because it was just a lot, man. That adrenaline made me do stuff that I normally would never do. So anyway, the only way to really get rid of that fear, let's say your fear is shooting at the gun range and the noise. The only way to get rid of that is consistent, deliberate practice. And unfortunately, the only way to deal with that fear and adrenaline in a real self-defense shooting is for you to put yourself in a lot of very high stress situations so that your brain can start to develop a tolerance to cortisol and adrenaline. The problem with that, Florida girl, is that tolerance that you develop, it only lasts for about 3 months, which is why law enforcement officers, military dudes, they have to put themselves in that high level of stress a lot because it's a depreciating skill. So anyway, keep that in mind. It is something you got to do a lot. But one of the other things that you can do is really think about, this is why I talk about in my book, Florida Concealed Carry Law, why I talk about the what would I do if game. It's about playing that game a lot. It's about really thinking about what are the scenarios that are most likely to happen to you, and then figure out what you're going to do. And then you got to run through those scenarios a lot. So if you're going grocery shopping a lot, what would you do if as you were putting groceries in your trunk, somebody came up, pulled up a knife, and tried to rob you? And every single time you're in that grocery store parking lot, you need to think about what you're going to do. So that way, when it happens, your brain is able to act in a subconscious nature to identify and then orient yourself and then act on that particular threat. Okay, Renee says, I am most afraid of somebody coming up behind me. So what that means, Renee, is you need to keep your head on a swivel. So when you are walking, every fourth or fifth step, you just got to look around. And I'll even tilt my head like this, where it's not all the way back, just to look. But keep your head on a swivel. And when you see people that don't match your baseline for what you expect to be normal behavior, those are the people that you have to watch more intently, because those are the people that are exhibiting those pre-incident indicators that something bad or violent is likely to happen soon. Raul says, where do you recommend we buy ammo during these pandemic times? My buddy at Bunker Depot, Kyle and Jason, they have got in the last week, they have got 50,000 rounds of 9mm. 50,000. That is a lot. So check them out, thebunkerdepot.com, or go to their business location, which is right off of Parsons in Brandon, and they'll definitely be able to hook you up. But ammo's hard. You know, the only other option, if you guys don't live locally, we buy a lot of our ammo through ammoseek.com. Now, AmmoSeek doesn't sell anything, but they're like a database. So Tiffany will go on there 4 or 5 times a day. She'll search, you know, bulk 9mm ammo. We buy it like 3,000 to 4,000 rounds at a time. And what AmmoSeek does is they send out robots all across the internet. They pull every website that has bulk 9mm in stock. And that way we can very quickly scan the entire internet to see if anybody has, yeah, it's an ammo search engine, basically, Drew. Good point. So that way it's very fast. And the reason we check so much is because it sells so fast. So when she finds something, we found some at Brownells the other day for normal prices. So $12 a box. So, or whatever. So she bought 3,000 rounds for $750, something like that, which is cheap. So she found it. She jumped on Brownells real quick, bought everything they had, and then kind of moved on. Is it, okay, M2 says, is it still $40 for a 9mm box of 50? That's all I can find. So Bunker Depot is selling it for $30 for a box of 50, which I think is very, very reasonable at the moment. All right, let's see. We did Matt's question. Here's Tony. What do you do if you are driving and some idiot with road rage flashes a gun? Happened the other day and I just got the hell out of there. Should I have followed him and called the cops? You know, we don't want to put ourselves in a dangerous situation by following the bad guy. But for me, I am for sure going to get their license plate. I am going to follow them. I'm going to keep a very solid, safe distance. So I'm going to get on the phone with the police because I want that person to get arrested. I want them to get in a lot of trouble and understand that you're not allowed to do this, because those are the idiots that are making the rest of the Florida gun owners look very, very dumb. So they have to be taught a lesson, and they have to understand that you can't do stuff like this. This is unacceptable. Yeah, so. Renee said it was 57 last time I bought. Yep, normal. Yeah, it's tough. Stuff's bad right now. When available, you can use store and car windows as mirrors for a quick look behind you. Yeah, that's some of like the counter surveillance stuff that I use, right? But yeah, I use that all the time. I think that's very smart, brilliant. Okay, any questions? Post them inside of the comments. Okay, Charles says, does a motor vehicle with road raging idiot actually running you off the road several times be considered a lethal weapon? I think it depends. You know, when we talk about what is considered a lethal weapon, let's see, maybe I didn't put it here. So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself before using or threatening the use of deadly force in the state of Florida. So number one, do you have a reasonable belief of imminent death? So if you're just driving in your Chevy Silverado truck and somebody is ramming you, is it reasonable to believe you're going to die at any second? Maybe. But I also think that's a little bit harder. Now, if you guys remember down in Sarasota many years ago, there was a car and a motorcycle. The car rammed the motorcycle. The motorcycle fell, crashed, went off the road. In my opinion, I think it's much more reasonable to believe the dude on the motorcycle was in fear of imminent death than it would be me in my big pickup truck. Second question is, do you have a reasonable belief of great bodily harm? So great bodily harm is cutting off a limb, breaking a bone, causing permanent brain damage, permanent disfigurement, permanent scar, something of that nature. Do you have a reasonable belief of the imminent commission of a forcible felony? None of the forcible felonies would apply, in my opinion, to this situation. Unless, again, the person was on a motorcycle, that could be a aggravated battery. Is the use of deadly force necessary? That's the important part, right? Because even if you're in that reasonable fear of imminent death, the use of deadly force still has to be a necessary response. So you might be in fear of death when you're in your Chevy truck and somebody's ramming you, but do you have to use a gun right then to stay alive? In my opinion, I think that'd be tough. I think it'd be very hard to convince a jury of 6 people that your only option to stay alive was to pull out a gun and shoot somebody. So hopefully it answers your question. Kathy says, how was your trip today? Anything good? Kathy, it was awesome. So we went to this gun store in Lakeland called West Coast Pawn and Gun. The staff there was very, very friendly, which is an issue for me. You know, one thing that bothers me about businesses, especially gun stores, most gun store employees, they kind of act like we owe them something. They kind of act like they just sit back there, arrogant, right? And just a little bit rude. So what I look for when I go into a business is I look for people that when I come in, they're like, hey, how are you? And then when I ask to see a gun, they show me the gun without the expectation that I'm going to buy it. Like, I bought a gun today at the gun store, and I bought it off of impulse. But sometimes, I won't name the name, there's one gun store that's notorious. Everybody talks about this. If you ask to see a gun, they feel like if they pull it out, you have to buy it. And they get an attitude if you don't. So this gun store is not like that. They were all super friendly. Thankfully, one of the employees there, Paul, is a follower of me on social media. So he knew me right away, which is awesome to see. I love seeing, you know, fans and people out there. But it was great. The store was beautiful. It was very well cut. They had some cool stuff. The video is going to post probably next Monday is going to be our goal. And yeah, it was awesome. I'm really excited about this. I think the name we were going to call it Road Tripping with Ryan and Tiffany. I don't know. I think now what we're going to call it is Guns and Tacos. The issue that, because at the end of every episode, Tiffany and I are going to go to a new Mexican restaurant that's a referral from the gun store, and we're going to rate that Mexican restaurant because we love Mexican food. We love it. So anytime we can find a new Mexican place to go to, like with the Mexican restaurant we went to, I'm eating the really hot salsa, and I was like, hey, can you put like a lot of this in a massive jar and sell it to me? And she's like, yeah, we can do that for you. I said, awesome, because this was some awesome salsa. You know it's a good salsa when like your nose starts dripping, like because it's so hot. That's my goal. Okay. Alan said, sorry, bro. If your concealed carry expires, what's the procedure? Thanks. State of Florida gives you a 90-day window before and a 90-day window after. So you're supposed to receive a postcard in the mail with a little code that allows you to log on to the Florida Department of Agriculture's website, use the code so they know who you are, update your personal information. I think you pay a $25 fee or a $50 fee, something like that. And then they simply mail you your new concealed carry permit. If you've gone past the 90-day window, then you have to start the entire process over again. Take concealed carry class, submit an application, get fingerprinted, whole 9 yards. Yeah, so Drew says, best tacos are usually little holes in the wall. Yeah, I kind of agree. This place, the food was really good. The burrito was amazing. The taco was awesome. The salsa was awesome. The enchilada that I got it was good, but the sauce they put on the enchilada was just different. It had like a smoky kind of taste, which I didn't really like, but I have leftovers, so I will eat those leftovers for dinner tonight, so it can't be that bad. Okay, Patty says, too many gun stores act like you owe them something and not like you are the reason to be in business. No appreciation for customers. I agree with you, Patty. I agree with you. And I think that's why gun stores have such a bad reputation and why they turn off new gun owners. Because brand new gun owners, especially women, you're already a little bit intimidated going in, right? And then you've got this big, like, burly dude, and they're kind of talking down to you, and it makes it very hard and even more intimidating to buy that first gun and to get into the gun culture. Our goal when we had our gun store was always to be like overly friendly It's the same thing I do with Tampa Carry, right? Every person that walks in, I shake their hands, I repeat their name, I look them in the eyes, all the stuff you should do as a human being anyway. But what we would do is I wouldn't ask people if they wanted to hold the gun. Whatever gun they were looking at, I would just pull it out of the counter and hand it to them. Because I know as a business person that 60% of sales in a retail environment are impulse. Well, the only way you can get that impulse is to start handing them guns. And that was our goal. We trained our employees. Just hand people guns. Doesn't matter. Just keep handing it to them because that's going to build the emotion and make people want to buy stuff. Okay, Kathy says, green smothered burrito. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm from Colorado. Yeah, that sounds good, Kathy. What's the law on open carry while hiking in Florida? There is no provision that allows you to open carry a gun in Florida while hiking, so it is not legal. The only loophole you could use is you are allowed to open carry a firearm while on your way to go fishing, camping, or hunting, or on your way back from fishing, camping, or hunting. So if you're hiking 10 miles into the wilderness, which I don't even know if that's possible in Florida, to go camping, then you're allowed to open carry while you're hiking to that camping grounds. So hopefully that answers your question. And Drew says just concealed. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Honestly, we go hiking in the woods a lot, and maybe not a lot, but we go hiking in the woods. I just conceal carry my gun because, again, it's irrelevant. My job as a responsible concealed carry permit holder is to develop the neural pathways in my brain so they're so strong, so thick, so efficient that when it comes time to use my gun, I don't have to consciously think about how to get my shirt up, grip the gun, extend it, and then fire. So that means my gun needs to be in the exact same position every day. And that's why I was on social media today. Some guy had a picture of all the different guns that he has. They all have their own concealment holster. And he said, every day, I really struggle to figure out which gun I'm going to carry. I frankly think it's very dumb. I think what you're doing is you're trying to create a lot of little neural pathways with different guns, different shapes and sizes in your hand, different holsters in different positions. What you're doing is confusing yourself. What you're doing is making it more difficult for you to actually use that firearm on a subconscious level, God forbid if you're ever forced to do it. So keep that in mind. That's why I only carry a Glock 19. I only use a Tier 1 Concealment Axis Elite. And I have no reason to ever change any of that stuff in my life because that's the neural pathway that I'm trying to create. Okay, Raul says, the Florida Department of Agriculture is taking too long to process the application. Not sure if it's due to the pandemic. It's due to stupidity. It's due to being inefficient and not being good business people. Prior commissioner was better. 100% agree. My son applied 4 months ago and is still waiting. Yeah, Raul, I think it's complete BS. You know, Nikki Fried, who's the person that's in charge of the Department of Agriculture, she was interviewed by some newspaper. You love how politicians tout how amazing they are, but in reality, they're doing a shitty, terrible job. If you were an employee, I would fire you. You're doing that bad of a job. But you're a politician, and we can't fire you. So she is doing a terrible job. She's very inefficient. And, yeah, I just think they're doing a crap job. So what's up, Paul? My name's Ryan, by the way, but that's cool. Kit says, if you were at my local shop, I'd think I'd be bankrupt after shopping. If you were at my local shop, I think I'd be bankrupt after shopping. Yeah, maybe. Sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself, but I like guns, and that's just the way it is. What's up, Marcel? All right, any other questions? Because I am out, and we're going to do a giveaway, so post your questions in the comments, and then I'm going to give away a couple copies of my book, Florida Concealed Carry Law. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but the Monday nights live, we sold so many books. It was 150, maybe close to 200. My entire table was full of envelopes for this book, it was very exciting. It took me 5 trips walking into the post office to be able to bring all these books in. It was crazy. So if you want the book, comment book down below, and we're going to pick 2 winners. Okay, Kit says, still waiting myself, same timeline. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, Jess says, I have a hard time not buying, handle myself too. Yeah, you know, I think guns are a fun hobby. Make sure you're saving money, right? So we don't want you to go into debt or spend money you don't have. It's more important to save your money, invest your money, and then the little bit of extra money you have, that's what we buy guns with. But don't go into debt doing crazy stuff. Crap, I meant to pick up those at Bunker Depot this morning. Got distracted. Okay, yeah, it's easy to get distracted at a gun store. All right, so I think first person I'm going to pick is going to be Paul. So Paul, I can't see your last name, Paul. But maybe I'm going to reply directly to you, Paul. So there you go, Paul. Send an email to winner@careyuniversity.com. Tell Tiffany who you are. She will ship the book out to you right away. And I'm going to wait a couple more seconds. We're going to get some more people on here and get some more people to comment. I'm really excited about the gun that I bought today. It is so weird. It is so strange. You guys are going to be excited. I'll do a couple videos on Facebook tomorrow for you guys to kind of see it. Got me a Springfield Armory Saint yesterday. Awesome. That's great. I think you're going to love it. All right, so the next winner is going to be AD, so ADIE. Sharapian. Sorry, bro. I don't know how to say your name, but you know who you are. So Adian Sharapian. Sorry, tell me how to spell your name. But you won, so send an email to winner@careyuniversity.com, and we will hook you up. Hey, guys, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much for tuning in with us every single Wednesday. It is awesome. And, you know, lots of you, I see you guys watch my videos. I'm very honored because it's a big deal. I don't know why people watch, but you guys do, and I greatly appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Cobb? So make it a big day, guys. Make sure you keep training. Make sure you carry your firearm every single day, and have a great, great night. Peace.